to another video here at Stage Bookish. My name is Olivia. It is a pleasure and joy to always see you. Thank you for coming back to my channel. What I'm here to talk about today is a bit of a targets video for myself. I've already talked about reading goals. I've talked about most anticipated books of the year, and I kind of wanted to give myself a little commitment because I've seen other booktubers do this, and I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. I want to do that. So this is my 5-star predictions for 2020. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 7 books written down. 7 apparently is a lucky number. Both new release and backlist that I am going to predict right now are going to be some of my favourites of 2020. And then hopefully, all being well and I'm right, we'll get to the end of 2020, look back on this video and see how right or how wrong I was. So I have 7 books to share with you. 4 are backlist. Yeah, 4 are backlist and 3 haven't been released yet. So we might talk about those first. In fact, yes, let's start with those. The first one, my first 5-star prediction is going to be for the new Elizabeth Aceveda book that is out in June 2020 called Clap When You Land. If you follow me on Goodreads, and if you don't, hit me up down below. This woman can do no wrong for me. She is an author by author. I 5-starred The Poet X. I 5-starred With the Fire on High. This new one is about another novel in verse, but it's about 2 daughters who lose their father in an aircraft crash type thing, and it's that they actually didn't know of each other's existence. So it's about grief, it's about loss, it's about devastation, and I'm just, whatever Elizabeth Aceveda writes, I will buy. So I didn't even need to know what it was about before I was like, I will buy that because it's Elizabeth Aceveda. And more than likely I will go audiobook as well, because if you've never heard Elizabeth Aceveda narrate an audiobook, you are missing out. Honestly, folks, you are totally missing out. So that's book number 1. Book number 2 is actually my second most anticipated book of the year, and that is Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis. I apologise if my correct pronunciation is wrong. This book has simply been pitched me. Not only does it have the most stunning cover, this book has been told to me that it is Moulin Rouge meets Phantom of the Opera. One of my favourite film musicals versus my all-time favourite theatre-based musical. Do you know? It also gives me vibes. It's a really old film now, but it's one of my favourite all-time films. Have you ever seen a film called The Prestige? Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman are kind of dueling magicians trying to outdo each other, and it's like there's murder and romance and action and adventure, and it's one of those films that you've got to pay attention to, but the outcome is unreal. That's also the vibes I get from this book. This is a June release, so I'm going to cry because I'm desperate. I've known about this book coming for a while, and I'm just desperate to get my hands on it. So if anyone can help a girl out, please hit a girl up. And my third book on my 5-star predictions that has not been released yet, isn't going to be released till September, and that is the new book in the Montague siblings world, if you like, from Mackenzie Lee, and that is The Nobleman's Guide to Scandals and Shipwrecks. So we've had a book about Monty, we've had a book about Felicity, we've now got a book about Adrian, who's the younger brother who, quite frankly, Felicity and Monty don't really have a very positive relationship with at all in the first 2 books. I am obsessed with this series. I 5-starred Gentleman's Guide. I think I did a 4 or 4.5 star for Ladies' Guide, but I think that's just because I've fallen so much in love with Monty and Percy. They are my OTPs. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And their kind of story and their journey, and also in The Gentleman's Guide to Getting Lucky, which is the novella between the events of The Gentleman's Guide and the start of Ladies' Guide. I'm just obsessed with them all. So the fact that this is kind of a new take on it, I just remember when Mackenzie Lee announced it and kind of Instagram went bonkers, because I went bonkers, Instagram went bonkers, book world went bonkers, because it was completely out of kind of left field. No one expected us to release it, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be a 5-star for me. Moving forward, all the other books on this list are ones that I currently own, so they are all backlist titles. Where shall we start? Let's start with one of my ones. If you've watched my previous video, books I should have read in 2019 but didn't, you'll know that after obsessing over Caravelle by Stephanie Garber in 2018, I still haven't read Legendary and Finale, which are the 2nd and 3rd books in the Caravelle series. Now, I always credit, and I've said it many, many times in videos, I credit Caravelle and Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertelli as the reasons I got back into reading within recent years. They were just both so wonderful and both so magical and both so captivating to me. Caravelle was one of the first books as well where I did a mix of reading the book and audiobook. and the audiobook was just magical. And I know the same narrator narrates the other two audiobooks, which I do have. Why didn't I get to it in 2019? I just didn't. It wasn't anything in particular, but I treated myself. I bought the American covers over the British covers because they are so unbelievably stunning. So I 5-starred Caravelle. I'm expecting to 5-star Legendary and Finale as well. Just like my next 5-star prediction. I 5-starred Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi in 2019. It was out the whole year. It was the second book I read in 2019, so early January, and it ended up at the top end of my best of the year list. Action, adventure, kind of Black Panther. If Black Panther had magic and was a girl, you've got Children of Blood and Bone. I did 5-star that. Excuse me, my legs are going to sleep because I'm sitting on the floor. I did 5-star that, but actually book I'm referencing for this 5-star prediction is the sequel, Children of Virtue and Vengeance, which actually didn't come out till, I think it was early December here in the UK. So purely because December is always manic, I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I'm really, really interested in reading it. It's going to be on my priority list. Friends at work I gave them Children of Blood and Bone and they became obsessed with it, so we all need to read it so we can get on it really, really quickly. Next up, linking to my 2020 reading goals video, one of my goals was I wanted to read more from one of my all-time favourite authors, Jay Kristoff. I adored the Nevernight Chronicles. I am obsessed with, just like I'm obsessed with The Gentleman's Guide, I'm also obsessed with Nevernight, God's Grave and Dark Dawn. And one of my reading goals this year is to read more of his backlist work while I impatiently wait for his new book. So actually, one of the things I'm going to want to read this year, and it's a series that he's involved with, and it might be a surprise to you that I've never actually read it. I want to read the Illuminate Files. I've never read Illuminate. I haven't. I tried to pick up Illuminate earlier this year, and for some reason I just couldn't get into it. Don't know why, just couldn't get into it. But I loved the concept, and my head trying to get around this multimedia piece was just wonderful to my brain. Illuminate, Gemina, Obsidio are the three, and it's Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. This is one of their kind of dual writings. I also want to look at Aurora Rising. Was that their other one that came out last year? And that's got another one coming out this year. So I'm going to look at that as well. But Illuminate. Everyone loves Illuminate. Everywhere on BookTube, don't think I have ever seen a negative review about Illuminate. And it just makes me absolutely obsessed to read it and kind of go, oh my god, I really hope I love it too. I mean, one of the best reactions on BookTube I've seen this year, if you follow Books and Lala, Kayla over at Books and Lala, one of her reading vlogs where she actually picked up Illuminate and she was like, I'm not expecting slides, but I know everyone hypes it. She was obsessed, and her reaction to being obsessed with it was one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen ever. I was like, oh my god, if Books and Lala likes it, it's gonna be good. But I'm desperate to get into Illuminate, Gemina and Obsidia. I do have the audiobooks for all three, so if my brain can't get around the mixed media, I might try the audiobooks for it. So I'm just really excited. I'm really excited to read all of these books. So that is Clap When You Land, Where Dreams Descend, The Nobleman's Guide to Scandals and Shipwrecks, Legendary and Finale, Children of Virtue and Vengeance, all three Illuminate files, and finally on this list, it is an author. So another one of my reading goals for this year is to read from more different authors. There's so many authors out there doing their thing and really just absolutely smashing it in what they do. And I want to read more. So one of my final 5-star prediction is for an author's works. One of the authors I want to take on this year is Ruta Sepetys. She is well known for her historical fiction. She's applauded for her historical fiction, has won awards, got loads of recognition for it. And she's another one that I've actually never read any of her works. I don't know if it's the historical element that puts me off or just I'm into more fluff and fantasy. I don't know. But actually, I traced Ruta Sepetys back to when I was teaching, and I had this one class who ended up being one of my favourite classes I ever taught, and they had this passion for reading. I tried to instill a passion for reading in them, and it was that class that not only brought to my attention The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. That's kind of when it was, because that had not long come out. But there was a girl in that class, and I asked them to, for a presentation, talk about one of their all-time favourite books. and it could be library, but it's just a book that meant something to them and they were passionate about. And one of the girls in that class bought Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. So we're probably talking, God, 2002, 2010, between 2011 2012. They brought Ruta Sepetys and extolled the virtues of Between Shades of Grey. She's had other books out since. But that kind of, it almost feels like I need to, because I read so many other books that that class recommended for me. So it almost feels like now I need to go back and do that one as well. I have copies of all of her books. So we've got Between Shades of Grey, Salt to the Sea, Out of the Easy, which is another New Orleans book, which is a theme in a lot of these videos I'm doing. And her most recent one, which came out last year, was The Fountains of Silence, which is set during the Spanish Civil War. So I've just kind of put to myself 2025 star predictions. Anything by Ruta Sepetys. So she's definitely an author I want to get to this year. So I'm hoping certainly some, if not all of her books will be 5 stars. It's mad, isn't it? It's the start of 2020. I'm making 5-star predictions. What the hell is going on, people? But that's it. They are my 7. Count them, 7. Even though some are multiple books, 5-star predictions for 2020. Do you have any 5-star predictions for this year? If you do, hit them up down below. Have you read any of these books already? Where should I start? Because I'm definitely going to read them, all these books, at some point during the year. I just don't know when. Should I prioritise them? Tell me down below. It'd be lovely to hear from you. It's always a joy to see you, YouTube. It's going to be an amazing year. I can feel it in my heart. And definitely after 2019, I need to focus on positive things, if you know where I've been at personally. It's a joy to see you, YouTube. My name has been Olivia. This has been Stagey Bookish, and I will see your glorious selves on the next video. Bye bye.